Welcome back. You're tuned into Inspired Afternoons with me, your host, Mariam Mia. And now it's time for our hashtag kindness and compassion segment. And this segment is an acknowledgement, a dedication, and just exactly a kind to show just to tell everybody, yes, we care for all the countless volunteers that give off so selflessly of their time and resources in service of Deen Islam as well in service of humanity. And these individuals, they take off from their busy schedules, from their busy lives to serve others. And that is the motivation of every person that I interview, as well as and they represent all those that focus on this. So this for me is an important segment, and it's a platform to say we acknowledge you. Without selfless individuals as yourself, society wouldn't be this kind, caring, compassionate place. So please, today I want to welcome Sister Fatima Jassat, and she is from the Azaadvile woman. Sister Fatima Mayet Jassat, and she's the chairperson of the Azaadville Women's Forum. And she says here, Azaadville is a small town west of Johannesburg, maybe a small town with huge hearts because they do phenomenal work. The organization was formed in 2015 by a group of young, middle-aged, and elderly sisters. It is a non-profit organization. It's non-political as well, and they take pride in community service, uplifting and aiding where there's a need. So let me welcome Sister Fatima to Salam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Fatima.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah for having me, Sister Mariam.
It's an absolute pleasure. And as I said, this segment is dedicated to organizations like yourself and various organizations where people give of their time, their resources to serve humanity, to empower and uplift the community and the surrounding areas. Because I know you don't only do work in Azaadville, but you assist marginalized community around your areas in terms of uplifting them. So tell me a little bit more about the Azaadville Women's Forum.
Okay, Sister Mariam, first and foremost, I'd like to begin by saying that it is always a team effort. We have an amazing group of women that always pull together to achieve such amazing things. And the main criteria for being part of the forum is to give in whichever way you can. We have women that can give their time. We have women that like to just sponsor funds or items, but on the whole, it's women giving off of whatever they can, whenever they can.
And that's selfless. So tell me some of the projects before we get to your latest project. For me, it's such a wonderful, caring gesture that we're going to do. We'll talk about that in a while. So tell me in terms of your outreach activities and programs, what do you do? What are some of the activities that you have annually or recent activities? I'm sure now during the COVID time, there was a great need, and I'm sure Azaadville Women's Forum were busy with some activities in terms of relief efforts during the COVID period as well.
Yes, we were. Some of the things that we do annually, or rather on an ongoing basis, is the peanut butter and bread drive that we support at the Charlotte Matseke Cancer Ward. It's going to be 4 years now that the women are contributing weekly loaves of bread, peanut butter, and jam. We have a doctor that selflessly gives her time to meet the sister, and she takes the bread through to the cancer ward. These are patients that come from very far, very early in the morning, and obviously have nothing to eat for the entire day. So it's simple peanut butter sandwiches to keep them going while they're waiting for their appointments. So that happens every Friday. And then we also have we have partnered with a community organization called MCO, which is an organization of men, meaning Azaadvile Men's Charity Organization, whereby now with COVID-19, there was a need for hampers, weekly hampers. It came to our knowledge that there's many community members who lost their jobs or who were just struggling during this difficult time. As we know, many lost their jobs, many couldn't make ends meet. So it's a hamper of groceries weekly, every Thursday. Some meat in there as well. Like now after Kurbani, we added Kurbani meat as well, so that these families can at least have meat once a week. And apart from those weekly drives that we do, we also have annual things. One of the highlights of the Azaadville Women's Forum is the domestic workers honorary lunch. So it was inspired by the Middleburg Muslim Women's Forum that had it a few years ago. And we have now hosted successfully 3, alhamdulillah. And this year would be our 4th one. We haven't yet decided how we're going to do it, because we have between 250 to 300 domestic workers that we host. And it's just a day of spoil. They get a lovely meal, snacks in between, and the Women's Forum members entertain them. We do little plays and sketches and speeches and a whole lot of exciting lineup of things for the day. Last year, for example, just to give you an idea, last year we took them to the Walter Sisulu Botanical Gardens. And that was a highlight for them, because it being so close to Azaadville, many have never been there. And I'm not sure if you know, Sister Mariam, but it's a beautiful place to spend the day. And it was really such a highlight. The year before, we did like a what do you call it? Like a sports event, healthy eating theme, and we had a sister come in to speak about women-related health matters. Like cancer and diabetes, all of these relative things that they need to basically. Our very first one was in African themed, and all of our guests, as well as the Women's Forum members, dressed in African garb, and it was really something so amazing to see all of them come out in their best. And the second year we had an Indian theme, and we had a lot of the employees that spoiled them with new or their own used Indian clothing, and it was just something very, very wonderful.
And for me, that's important. But yes, we do the important hampers and the relief efforts in that. But it's also about making memories and making people feel special. For me, you can't put a price on that. Restoring somebody's dignity, and also showing that you care and you are an important member of the society. In fact, when it comes to our housekeepers, they are part of our family. And when we dedicate a day like this, with the sisters from the community come together to treat our housekeepers and show them we care, that for me is kindness and compassion. And those memories last forever. When you recalling it, I can see from your facial expression, you recalling it with such fondness. It was such memorable moments for you that will be forever trenched in your memory, in the community, and for all those that experience it. And for me, that is relationship building. So part of what we do in forums like this,
Yeah.
in ladies forums, is all about relationship building, community building, and making the world a harmonious place for all to live. By doing so, to show that, you know what, there is kindness and compassion, and we can extend that kindness and compassion. So it's not about the tangible physical relief parcel that we do, or seeing the, like you say, the sandwich drives, and that's in place. But when you physically go out there and you connect, because the sandwich drive is done through a mediary, a facilitator. So there's no connection between somebody that lovingly made that sandwich and the recipient. But when you have a function like your annual domestic day
Yeah.
lunches or activities, and that is bring people together, and these are emotions, and this is relationship building, this is about nation building. And for me, that aspect as well of relationship building is also a cornerstone of what NPOs in that should be doing. Sister Fatima, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes. So now moving on.
Totally. I agree with
Please,
you,
the next
Sister
time,
Mariam.
the next time,
It's
I'd love to be present there and just witness the
we'd
atmosphere.
love to have you. We'd love to have you. Please make dua.
Just
Inshallah,
yes.
we're not sure how to go about hosting.
Next
It
year,
happens
inshallah.
in
Mhm.
November every year. We have it generally, it's in end of October, November before they go away for the December period. And we also give them gifts to take home. And that's also another highlight. Just seeing their faces light up with these little things that, they get to take home. And it's truly really very rewarding because they are the ones that are always running our homes, helping us out. Without them, we cannot manage. And just having one day to give back, it truly is something.
Okay, so now let's move on to this. I seen this because I am there, by the way. So we are kindred sisters in terms of being on the the exec chair group of South African National Women's Forum. I represent Greenside, and you so ably represent Azaadvile as well. So I came across this most wonderful initiative, and I see many sister organizations have said, you know what, we also would like to now make this our October campaign as well. And this is the Cupcakes for Kids with Cancer. And
Yes.
yes, so tell us more about this, because everybody was just so COVID in and everything was COVID, and we forgot that there's a need in other spheres as well. And part of it is children with cancer. So tell me more about this initiative, Cupcakes for Kids with Cancer.
Okay, so September is actually Children Cancer Awareness Month. And even though many of our forums, I know you're also aware, October is always campaign for breast cancer awareness. And Azaadvile Women's Forum has also hosted breakfasts and teas, high teas, lunches. We've done a walk, a community walk for women only, and we hosted a breakfast after we raised a sizable amount for breast cancer awareness. But this tugged at my heart a little bit because I came across their page on Instagram, and they are called Cupcakes of Hope. So I checked the website out, and I saw that you basically, as a forum or an individual, you pledge an amount of cupcakes that you then go forward and sell. In normal situations, all of the malls have those little kiosks where then they put up their cupcakes to sell to people at the shopping centers. Or in our case, like a forum, we would have put up a table at our shopping complex in Azaadville whereby we would have sold these cupcakes. But with COVID-19 and so much of a scare and worry around the pandemic, the ladies decided to do a virtual sale. So what we did was whoever pledged their cupcakes had to undertake marketing of their cupcakes. So they had to take photographs and share it on our WhatsApp group, as well as other Azaadville community WhatsApp groups on their statuses, Instagram, etc. It was hashtagged Bake a Difference. And it was phenomenal. In a matter of 1 week, we raised just over 6,000 Rand for Cupcakes of Hope. So it was something really easy. If you think about it, all you needed to do was just bake any amount of cupcakes that you like, and sell them in from the comfort of your home. The ladies then opted to either deliver or have the people who bought them pass by and pick it up, and it avoided a crowd and of the ladies actually getting together, with like we normally do, and we achieved a good thing in the comfort of our homes. Alhamdulillah.
Yes, Alhamdulillah. Like I say, one of the silver linings of the lockdown in the pandemic, it's taught us that we need to reinvent ourselves, innovate, and adapt. And it shows our resilience because, like you say, you had this virtual cupcake. Posted pictures on Instagram, sold them off as well, and people just came in and collected it. Decided, you know what, this one looks really tempting. This one is divine. This one will go well with our evening tea. And I know lockdown meant eating, 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 because that was one of the pleasures.
Totally.
That was one of the pleasures that we got to enjoy with our family time, was especially
Definitely.
winter, was the extra hot chocolates, the extra coffees, and the
Yes,
extra tea times. So the cupcakes was a perfect, delicious accompaniment. So I'm sure that's one of
everybody
the
everybody loves
contributing
cupcakes.
factors. Yes, and sometimes it's nice to taste somebody else, because I'm sure there are many bakers out there, but it's just good to sample. Variety is the spice of life. So just have a variety of cupcakes,
In
and at the
fact,
end, it's cupcakes for
sorry.
good. Mhm.
In fact,
Carry on.
there was a few ladies whose children obviously heard from their moms about the drive, and they then opted to bake it and decorate it themselves, which was so sweet and special, and it just added to the whole essence of giving, because these children decided to bake it themselves and decorate it themselves, and mashallah, it just instills that act of giving even more. Charity begins at home, and especially when the children know that the funds go to cancer sufferers, children cancer sufferers, and it's used towards spoiling these children and making their days a little better in the cancer ward. As you know, having cancer is never easy. Going through chemotherapy and all of those endless drips and medication, it makes the children just takes away the pleasures of life and of childhood. So the funds are used towards just uplifting the children, and having the children give off a little bit of themselves. It just makes it so much more special.
And for me, that's important, because while you and I can partake in activities, outreach programs, community empowerment programs, acknowledgement programs, but we need to leave a legacy behind, because one day when the Mariam Mias and the Fatima Jassats of the world are no longer, we need to leave a legacy. And I'm so pleased that you involving the youth and the younger generation, because this is what they'll need to take the reins, and they'll have to then continue this legacy we leave behind. Because I think this also is one focus, and I always remind groups that you need to, and I was pleased to see that you said when you formed in 2015, it was youngsters, uh, middle-aged ladies, and then the very senior ones, because this is what we need, a follow through, because we have the
Yes,
very old senior mothers and grannies that will guide us, bring their wisdom, bring their knowledge, and then we have our group, the mothers with the children, and then we bring our expertise and experience, and then we have the youth that tells us, your ideas in terms of how you market events and doing this is so 1990s and 1980s. You need to
of
get to the
course.
2020s. So this is how we roll, and especially since we're
Oh, we
going virtual, you have to take a leaf out of their book in terms of Instagram marketing, social media marketing,
correct.
creating the hype and the FOMO, and that's where they come. But all the while, you working intergenerational together, so that one day those youngsters are going to be those middle-aged uh, females or mothers, and then they're going to then uh, get the new lot to come in. So it's a
Exactly.
continuous cycle that
Yes.
do in service of humanity. And for me, that's important, is not just focus on the now of what we're doing, but the longevity of groups such as this. For me, it's important that
Totally.
we harness everybody.
Totally, you hit the nail on the head, Sister Miriam. Because for us, I feel that you cannot have a divide. You've got to include all backgrounds. You've got to include people of different faiths. You've got to include different age groups. Like you said, I mean, the millennials think differently. Generation Z thinks differently. We've got to combine, and like you touched on, we need our elders. We always need them to guide us, to show us the ropes, to show us how it's been done before, and also for us to learn from them. It's amazing how much you learn from the elderly ladies, and they might not have up to date technology or the know it of how things work with social media, but they have knowledge of things that we would never know because they have experience. So with respect, you've got to take a combination of everything and combine it. And alhamdulillah, you've got to make it work. Like we have in Ramadan, we have the abaya drive, which we distribute gently worn abayas. And we always love hearing from how the elderly ladies would say how certain things would work. And before Eid, we have a sweet hamper drive, whereby we many forums give out grocery hampers for Eid and for Ramadan. And our forum got together and we said, what are we doing for the children? Because we have every kind of sweetmeat and dessert and cupcakes and wonderful chocolates on our tables, and we have disadvantaged communities. And what are they having? They've been fasting, they've been going to madrasa every day, but what are they having? Some of them, their parents are not actually Muslim, and they are practicing the deen, and they're going to madrasa every day, and come Eid, they don't have anything special. So we got together with the women, and our elderly ladies gave insight into, you've got to put a very a wide spectrum. You can't just give sweets and chocolates. Why don't you put in something that can be enjoyed by the family? And so alhamdulillah, like that, you come together, you sit, you talk, and you realize you need different people with different ideas to come together and put together a project. It's very important to get input from everyone.
For me, a generational perspective is important, because even here at Salam Media, I consider myself to be young, but yeah, I'm Appa Mariam, so I'm like the motherly figure.
You are young. You're very young.
Yeah, no, I feel young, but when I step in the studio, then I'm the mother figure here, because we have our interns,
They
we have our
say you're
producers, and
only as
everybody.
young as you. You're as young as you feel. So if you feel young, then that's great. I'm forever 21.
Yeah, I love that. I'm going to use your saying and say I'm for it. But then I have everybody. So I'm like here, the motherly figure at Salam Media, and I have all the youngsters surrounding me, and like you say, the Gen X and the Gen Xers. But then when we brainstorm, I will bring that different insight in terms of, like you say, when they ask you for your opinion, I'll look at the big picture in the holistic way, and then they'll bring all the savvy ideas and this. But it's vital, because then you have a holistic product that you send out there, and whatever you do, it's a well thought of plan, and it's inclusive.
Totally.
Very inclusive.
Sometimes you have an idea and you've got it worked out in your head. Like when it comes to hamper packing, and you have an idea and it's going to work, and we test it out beforehand, and come the day and we're doing stuff and things are not working, and then you're like, okay, now what? And then that's when you'll have a young person will surprise you with, like, Auntie Fatima, maybe we should do this. And maybe sometimes you have an elderly lady that goes, maybe try this approach, or maybe this would work this way. And then you're like, why didn't we think of that? But you see, that's why you realize that you've got to include everybody, because that's the only way you can grow as a forum and even as a person.
In any organization for that matter. Fatima, I can chat to you for the next half an hour. I just feel like we have this connection, and your kindred
I
sister.
do too.
Jazakallah for coming on, and you are the chair and the face of the organization. But as you said in your introduction here, it's a complete team effort, and
Totally.
you're only as strong as your weakest link, and your weakest link is very, very strong. That's why we hear the amazing work that the Azaadvile Women's Forum are undertaking in service of deen and humanity at large. And I'd like to acknowledge each sister at Azaadvile Women's Group. That is why when I had the segment, and this segment was put together, and I said on a Monday, when I had to present, I said I need a platform, because I know many selfless individuals that give off their time and their resources, and they do this all on a volunteer basis. It's not a job. They have plenty other, especially as a mother. We have plenty other chores in that, but we find the time. You make the time to service humanity. There's nothing in it for you monetarily, but the reward from the Almighty and the joy you get from giving, because
Totally.
giving is
100%.
contagious. And it beautifies, kindness beautifies the world and beautifies everything around. And that is the motivation that drives everybody who does this type of work, that volunteers of their time, their self, their resources, even though they have so many other things in their life happening, but they prioritize this as a job, as a full-time job that you do. It's part of who you are. So I'd like to acknowledge every sister, and like you say, every recipient, every person that cannot help physically, but has contributed to your causes to make it
Yes,
happen and to make it a success. So this platform is to acknowledge all the selfless individuals, and today we acknowledging the Azaadvile Muslim Azaadvile Ladies Forum, and
Jazakallah.
all the donors and all those that assist behind the scenes. So inshallah, please accept this as an acknowledgement and as a gesture, and like you say, a clap and a dua for all of you today here on Salam.
Jazakallah, Sister Miriam. I must thank you so much for showcasing our little town and the little things that we do, but we do it with such pride. And I'm so grateful to have been on your show, and remember us in your special du'as. Most importantly, may Allah accept our little efforts, and may He always keep us humble, and may we remind ourselves every day, every single day, with every act, that it is always and only for His pleasure and never for show and for the greater good. And Jazakallah once again for having showcased the Azaadville Women's Forum.
It's been an absolute pleasure. And inshallah, may the Almighty continue to use yourself as well as all your sisters here at Azaadville
Ameen.
Ladies Forum
Ameen.
in service of deen and humanity at large. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam, Sister Mariam, and look forward to your invite for our next domestic lunch, inshallah.
Inshallah. Let's go for a short break, and then we're moving on to our educational insight segment.